2, 1.
All right, guys, y'all ready to do our pre-job?
Yes, sir.
Perry, did you IVR whenever we got here, man?
I did.
All right, good. It is July 20th. We are working in Mecklenburg County just in case we have to call 911. Hopefully we don't have to do that today. The address, in case we do have an emergency, is 430 South Graham Street, Charlotte, North Carolina. Our nearest medical facility is Carolina's Medical Center. If we do have an emergency, we need an AED or first aid kit. My truck's parked over there. It's truck number 16848. Special site considerations. There is a lot of crews in here, so I've got listed traffic and people. Do y'all see any other thing we need to add to that?
Your first aid kit, is that the same?
Yes, sir.
Same location?
Same location, that's correct, on the passenger side of the truck.
All right.
So if we have to have emergency services, we're back away from the entrance and the gate. Do we need somebody to go to an area to meet the
I'll
ambulance?
volunteer to go and meet them.
I'll call.
Okay, you'll call 911 unless you'll go to the gate. All right, good deal. So our substation name is Graham Street Retail. We got our EIC as Mr. Perry Miller here. This is not a NERC station. We don't need any escort or anything like that. Didn't you guys walk down the station whenever we got here just to verify everything was normal?
Yes, everything looked normal.
All right, good deal. Today we are going to be working on that 12-1 breaker right there, doing an internal PM on it. Roles and responsibilities. Who all is going to do what?
I'm gonna get the filter backed in here. Patrick, will you help me flag me back?
And once we're done with that, me and you'll be grounding the breaker.
Okay.
And while they're grounding, we'll get tools.
All right.
All right, good deal. So everybody knows what they're doing. Other work groups, only other people in here are service techs and actually the civil crews over there changing some disconnects and stuff, so just be mindful of that. Required forms, the only form we gonna need today is gonna be our grounding form from the ground that breaker. Just make sure we inspect our grounds good, verify everything is in good condition, and record it on our form here.
All right, so do we have the procedure for doing the breaker maintenance, the part that we're going to fill out for the checks that we're going to do today?
It's tied in with our work order. It's on the back of our work order for all our measurements we're going to take and anything we do as far as PM and the breaker.
And you've got the work order.
And I do have the work order.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Good deal.
So the parameters of what we're going to be looking for is going to be on that form.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
All right.
All right, good deal. Our voltage on this breaker is 12 kV, and that makes our mat at 2 foot 2 inches. We talked to our service techs, the only back feed that we could have on this are AC and DC inside of our cabinet. The stored energy, that breaker mech is closed right now, so just make sure we open it and make sure everything is killed before we decide to work on anything. Make sure that it is grounded before we get on it. We discussed how we're going to ground it and everything. Just before you put a ladder up or anything, make sure it is grounded.
All right. So the stored energy, is this this mechanism type, is this spring or hydraulic or what are we working on?
Spring.
It's a spring.
All
Yeah,
right.
we'll discharge it by opening it, and before we open it, we'll remove power for the.
All right. So we need to make sure the breaker's discharged and we're going to move the power so it can't charge back.
That is
Yeah.
correct.
All right.
All right. Our service tech showed us clearance. We saw our open points, and he did show us a dead test, so we know that thing's isolated. I am the clearance holder. There's no other tagging used. We're not going to use any cover up here. The only other power source, what we already talked about, is the AC and DC in that cabinet. That's the only thing as far as that breaker goes. Additional notes, we are close to 12.2 right here. Y'all can see it's really low to the ground. Just be mindful of that, working around there, having you stick up in the air or whatever. So in saying that, we're going to put up red tape right there so we know where we're at. We know not to get close to that. 12.2 is hot, and this low tension right here is also hot. So make sure we red tape off both of those. Driving and vehicle positioning, we got our driving plan. We know where you're going to put the oil trailer, and everybody else just set up out of the way. We know where we're going to get tools off of. Lifting and rigging plan, there is no lifting and rigging plan for this job today. The only other distractions are cell phone use. If you need to take a phone call, just step off, let somebody know that you're on the phone, and we'll do what we got to do there. Drop zone, don't be in the line of fire. Whenever we're lowering that tank, don't be underneath it. If for some reason you are on top of that breaker, just be mindful of tools falling or anything like that.
We'll watch those rusty cables.
Yeah,
Right,
and
right.
test them before we let it down.
Okay.
Tighten them up.
All right, good deal. Let's see, environmental and wildlife. We are going to be pumping oil, so make sure we use our oil mitigation and put our spill basin down before we back the trailer in here.
I'll make sure all of our connections are taped and that we've got drip pans.
Okay, good. Good deal. And make sure we watch out for bees and snakes. It's that time of year.
We looked for that when we were doing the walk.
Okay, good deal. Good deal. Current and adjacent structure condition, as far as I'm concerned, and that, like you just said, doing you walk down, I think everything's good as far as that breaker goes. Let's see, other hazards and stuff. I've got heat and our hydration chart. What all do y'all think we need to put for our hazards?
I think hydration is going to be our biggest thing today with it being so hot.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the
Amount of time?
Yep. 16, 24 ounces.
Yep, 16 to 24 ounces every 45 minutes.
Okay.
So make sure we're taking plenty of breaks, drinking plenty of water.
And I think again too, like you said, some of the stuff being low in here, if we're carrying any ladders in or anything, we'll
Okay.
be careful and watch for each other with that.
Okay. All right, just be mindful whenever we do have the trailer in here, there's gonna be a lot of stuff to trip on. The spill basin, the ground for the trailer, hoses laying around, all that stuff. So our contingency plan, in case of any issues with this breaker, if something happens and we ain't gonna be able to get it back in service today, make sure we let our service tech know so he can make arrangements. PPE, our standard PPE of course is hard hats, safety glasses, gloves, boots. Make sure we've got our FR on when we're grounding and when we're within 10 feet of any energized equipment. Additional PPE, the only thing I've got listed is fall protection. If you do put that harness on, make sure you inspect it before you put it on. And me and Patrick were talking earlier, and if you're gonna be handling oil or the hoses, make sure you put some rubber gloves on. Keep that stuff off your hands.
I got 2 different sizes on my truck, so.
Okay.
HP concepts. We're gonna talk about those. We kind of went through them a little bit, talking about our pre-job. Just be aware of the situation we're in today. What's going on around you, what everybody's doing. Make sure we self-check. Be mindful of who's around you. Check on what you're doing. Verify what you're working on. Communicate with each other. Talk about what we're doing. That way everybody knows what's going on. Procedure use and adherence. We talked about that procedure that you've got on that work order. So just everybody knows what we're doing. Just look after each other and have a question and attitude. If you got something to ask or you're not sure about what's going on, ask it. Nobody's gonna get their feelings hurt if you ask any questions. Y'all want to add anything at all to this pre-job?
I think we've gone over it pretty well. We all know what we're going to do, who's going to do what.
Good.
If we
All
run
right.
into anything, we'll call for a stop.
All right.
Start over.
Sounds good. All right, let's sign up, boys.